What's up, guys? 9 p.m. Eastern, couple minutes late again, but if I wasn't late, it wouldn't seem normal. Anyway, it's live stream time, guys. I have an awesome guest tonight. It's going to be the great Curator. I'm going to bring him on, let him tell you about himself, his channel. Let's get a couple shout outs real quick. We got Bradley, Global, Sports Cards, been waiting for a while. Michael Ham, the Road Dog. What's up? Bradley 124, Neo. I see you, Neo. What's up? Yeah, Neo, I bet we're going to be talking about some Marvel stuff tonight. At least I hope so. Adam Griffith, Stephen Ryan, PSA Slab Guy, what's up? He says, anything except comic book talk tonight, guys. We'll be talking about some Marvel. I don't know if it'll go into the realm of comic books or just Marvel cards. We'll see how that happens. I love podcast Doodad. Bazooka Tom, guys, I could do shout outs all night, but I have a guest waiting. I'm ready to bring him on. You guys attack us with your questions and your comments. As always, we're going to get to as many as we can. But first, we're going to get familiarized with our guests. So let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to go ahead and bring him on. So what's up? And your first name is Daniel, correct?
Thanks for having me, sir. Appreciate it, guys.
And it's Daniel, correct, as the first name?
Correct.
All right. Yes. So would you prefer to be Daniel or would you prefer to be Curator, the great Curator? How would you like for me to refer to you the rest of the night? What are you most comfortable with? Great. TGC, like the card game.
GC, that's what people would call me.
GC. Yeah. All right, there we go. Yeah. Charles, what's up? All right, so I know that you're very much into collecting a lot of the oddball items that I am. Well, we don't consider them oddball items, but typically what a lot of people would consider to be oddball items. That's what keeps me excited. That's what's got me like watching your channel. A lot of stuff, I can go to your channel. I can see something different, but I can also see someone that is also looking out for the hobby and into the hobby like myself, sports as well, but you really enjoy some of the different items like I do. And so, yeah, just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, your channel, your Instagram, all that stuff, little details about your collecting and stuff like that, and get everybody a little bit familiarized with yourself.
Sure. Okay. Well, you can find me on Instagram and YouTube. I'm the Great Curator at the Great Curator. And basically, my YouTube channel is about, I like to call it, I just kind of speak about general topics. I try to put out helpful videos out there for people who are maybe new to the hobby to kind of understand and get their, get a little bit of knowledge so they can avoid some of the common mistakes that we all have made. But mainly it's a source for me to it's like a fun creative outlet for me to make these videos, but mainly it's a source for me to use YouTube as a platform to kind of spread a message that I'm trying to promote out there, which is a message of positivity and civility within the hobby. It's like my mission statement, guys. So if you watch my videos, I talk about it all the time, how I think that we should come together as a community to kind of set a very high standard of civility and conduct that we hold each other accountable to. And I believe that if we do that, we will weed out a lot of the bad actors that we have been seeing lately. So that's like the main reason these videos, for that type of exposure. Also, just because it's fun and helpful to people. So that's really cool. And I've been getting a lot of positive feedback on that. So I think that my message, which I keep repeating on a weekly basis to people at nauseum, I think that it's starting to catch on because people have been approaching me and I've been seeing a lot of good stuff in the hobby. So that's really exciting. And then my YouTube, that's my YouTube. And then my Instagram is just that's my personal card Instagram. So I just post all my cool stuff on there just to try to share it with the community.
Yeah. So like me, and also as an outlet, like you referred to it as an outlet, is it an outlet to also for you to share your cards and what you're doing? Because maybe your everyday friends or coworkers or your wife or girlfriend or significant other maybe get tired of hearing about it, and you kind of look to the community because we all have that in common and we love to talk about it. So with me, a lot of times my Instagram, when I get new cards, if it wasn't for my, I have to post them on Instagram. If not, I'll be showing them to my wife and she'll be like, what's that? So a lot of my talking and my videos really became an outlet for me to find people who had things in common like myself that I could talk to, even though I was sitting behind a camera and doing it. I was talking, and getting my excitement out about something that someone else might not have found exciting and might have got tired of me talking about. Do you find it as kind of like an escape in that way?
Oh, absolutely. Outside of my card community friends, nobody cares about any of my stuff,
Mhm.
especially my family. So, it's a great way for me to kind of share with people. So that's super cool. It's all like, for me, it's like, even though I treat this almost like a full-time job, to be honest, the time that I spend doing this, it is like, just
Mhm.
for me, it's a total escape, total 100%. And I love everything about it. So, the world outside of our community can be stressful and negative a lot. So this is, for me, this is just a way for me to kind of like get away from all that stress, all that outside negativity, and just enjoy myself. So it's a total escape for me.
Right. And would you like how would you describe yourself as far as the hobby goes? Or do you do everything, buy, sell, trade, invest, collect? Because you have some people say, "Oh, I'm strictly collectors and people shouldn't be in this and for investing." And you have some people that are strictly investing, and that's fine. I think everybody's, the hobby's one big snowball of, individuals and what the individual does and chooses to do. And then you have people who just love every aspect of it, like myself. I love to buy. I like to flip. I like short term, long term. I love collecting. Um, I love the shows. I love the community. For me, I try to take it all in as opposed to just one thing, and necessarily not disliking what certain other people may be doing.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that. I do it all. I'm pretty much
Oh yeah.
almost do everything. The only thing I mean, I
Hmm.
don't like participate in race or anything like that, but like pretty much I love the process of the hobby, buy,
Hmm.
sell, trade, collect, invest, hold, all that stuff. I just like the activity of it. I love the process. I go out to shows every weekend. I'm at every show, and I go to like all the shows, even outside of
Hmm.
my area, people just to hang out. The whole process for me is what makes it enjoyable. Like I buy cards, and if I can show off something, I like,
Oh yeah.
not mine, right? But I'm actually holding this for somebody right now. But I can get a card like this gold Brady, and it's cool, and I'll put it on a shelf or whatever, or put it in the box or safety deposit box. But that doesn't bring me enjoyment, like the
Right.
process of showing it off, chasing it, making deals. That's what I love. So I'm involved in almost every aspect of the hobby.
Okay. And as far as your personal collecting go, and we're going to get into that and some of your, I know you like Marvel and I know you like wrestling and I know you love precious metal gems. Um, you've been looking at the employee set. You've been picking those up. I was looking at those. I love the Hulk Hogan card that you had. So you'll definitely be able to show
Uh-huh.
those off tonight because one thing, oh, precious metal gem. I
Right.
like to show my stuff that I get also. So definitely we'll be showing some cards. That's what makes it exciting. Um, but is there anything that like you collect for a specific reason? Like there's certain things that I collect a lot of times when I look at my personal collection, it's my personal collection can almost tell a history or a story at least of my life. A lot of my personal collection is memories and things like that. Yeah, there it is. Whether it's Hulk Hogan, and growing up and loving him as a kid, or the rock. I collect rock and roll stuff. I collect the Panini stickers of music stars and things like that because I have a really strong connection with music. I have different songs that put me in different places and moments of my life. So I like to collect those cards. And when I look at them, it actually can put me somewhere and actually, tug at something. Is there anything that you have
Mhm.
specific in that regard, or is it just stuff that you like or think that is cool? Is there anything that you're like emotionally can put you somewhere?
Oh man, I think for me the emphasis is definitely on buying things that elicit some type of emotional response for me. So for me, like when I was a kid, my peak collecting years was back in the mid 90s, especially
Mhm.
between like 94 to like 97. So that
Okay.
was me, and I was all about basketball. So I love any players from the 90s, Kobe Bryant, obviously, and all those guys. Any type of card that I can get from that era, that makes me feel like a kid, so anything like that. So that's what I buy. I don't really buy just I don't buy like, I try to buy things like that had that emotional response for me, or just that kind of bring me back, and then things
Hmm.
that I just think are cool, or anything like that, really. So that's kind of
Right.
like my focus area, like 80s, 90s. That's what really makes me happy.
Yeah. With me, a lot of it's 80s, early 90s. I was really in, and then kind of in my high school years, I lost interest a little bit, and that would have been through. that would have been around 94. But then I was back in, I remember collecting when Peyton Manning was a rookie. So I wasn't gone very long. I was back in and collecting around 98 during the Moss Manning draft. Now, real quick, I want to bring this up because I also am in touch with these guys, Sunday League Investors. I submit all my soccer cards through them. Cool dudes over there. The orange case that was lost and found, which I had a feeling of relief when that thing was found, and I wasn't even like personally, it didn't have much effect on me other than these were guys that I knew from the hobby. But I saw your Instagram post first, reaching out to the community to help. Anything that, were you there when it happened? Were you there when it turned up missing? Do you know how it was found? If this is all private stuff that nobody wants to talk about, that's fine. At least it was found. That's the important thing. But a lot of people, were out there looking. Anything you want to bring up about that?
Yes. Okay. So I got to be careful about how I mention this. I was there. I'm friends with Brian. That's his name. Sunday League Investor.
Yeah, Brian.
I was sharing a table with him at that show. We often table sometime now. So I was there. I was there when we left. And basically, I left him and then he was me. And then we were going to go to trade night after that. And he misplaced his case is what happened, I don't know the details. I don't want to speculate about actually happened. I have my own thoughts about it. But the most important thing is that he got his case back. And what I want to highlight from this, is that the community rallied around this guy. People that didn't know him, everybody at trade night, when the announcement was made that his case had gone missing, everybody at trade night, probably at least 100 people there, if not more, rallied around this guy, and everybody was posting to their Facebook. Everybody felt bad. It's we all lost our case that night, right? And that kind of goes to speak to the close-knit community that is our collector hobby, right? So everybody was posting to their Instagram, and I think that had a significant impact on that case showing up the next day. People did the right thing. People, whoever found it, I don't know who that person is. They found it. They probably saw the ad, the multiple posts out there, and then turned it in the next day. So that was really cool. And that would probably not have happened had the community not rallied around him. And had we not, we didn't even know, we were all talking about it. We didn't know that the case was going to turn up, right? We were all hoping, but we were already planning. A lot of us were already planning on how we can help him get back on his feet. I was trying to organize people to donate cards to him. We were working out some type of plan. So if that case had never come back and he lost everything, he would have been okay, because I think that the community would have done whatever we needed to do to get him back on his feet, because he is a major part of the community too. He has a large following. He's people love him. If you ever met the guy, he's super cool dude. So everybody everybody felt really bad. Everybody stepped into action right away to help him out. And thankfully it all worked out. He got all his cards back. No harm done and nothing like that.
Yeah, he's a super cool dude. I met him at the National. We only talked very briefly because the National was just crazy. But I'm in contact with him on Instagram a lot. I follow his videos. He has a bunch of soccer cards submitted with him through PSA. That's who I do all my soccer stuff through Brian, just to give him the business, And actually I just got an item back from him not long ago. Was a Ronaldinho Valenzuela issue, because PSA wouldn't grade this. So this came back from PSA ungraded, and he sent it to SGC for me in one of his SGC orders. So yeah, the good dude over there. I saw today that he had his case, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. So yeah, another, like someone said in the chat, win for the hobby. Yeah, very lucky. That stuff's not always going to happen, but at least not that easily. But so we got Dexflow here coming in hot and heavy with a super chat. Thank you, Dexflow. Two of his favorites, great Curator, Northeast Rattlesnake. He always calls me the Rattlesnake because I'm bald. So two of your favorites, would we go on the list with Brad and Dustin, as your other two favorites? I know Dexflow is a fan of Personal Finance Dad, and Brad, the comeback card investor. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to take some comments, guys. Put in your questions, your comments for myself, for Daniel, the great curator. We want to interact with you guys. We want to get in some questions. We want to show you guys some cards, talk about the avenues that we're taking and the types of things we're looking for right now. I Love Podcast right now says thoughts on NBA, which is very broad. Guys, you know, the questions that are just thoughts, you know, I'm always going to say, hey, I need you to specify. Do you want me to talk about players? Do you want me to talk about cards? Do you want me to talk about teams? So I Love Podcast. Narrow that down for us, and we will hit it from whatever angle you want us to. PS Collectibles, big fan of both of us. Watching from the Philippines. Wonder what time it is in the Philippines right now. I don't know. But anyway, so
what's up?
So right now, so you're probably your number one sport that you really look at right now, basketball, right, is what makes up a bulk of what you buy, sell, trade.
Okay, so that's my
basketball.
Yeah.
So in the basketball market, do you like to prospect? Do you like to go after vintage? Do you like to collect just autos of the greats? Do you do a little bit of everything? How do you approach your basketball?
Yeah, I'm a GOAT collector. LeBron, Kobe, Kobe. Those are guys I collect most, but also the guys that I watched back in the 90s. 80s, I'm a big fan of the 80s guys too. So I'll collect all that stuff. I don't prospect too much, to be honest. The only guys I would really buy right now. In fact, I don't really buy any or trade or pick up any modern cards, to be honest, unless they're like high-end national treasures, flawless autos, things like that. But if I were to pick up some of the younger guys, it would probably be like Trae Young, John Morant. I like those guys a lot. But I try to stay away from those guys. I go back to the proven legends. Those are the guys that I like to.
Yeah, like with me, I do prospect here and there. It's become a lot harder to do. So, you know, you really got to pick your guys like really wisely and really not even hold them. You know, that is the quick flip of modern NBA basketball. The stuff that I tend to go after for my collecting is I like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So legends and GOATs, but not on the same price level as like LeBron, Kobe, and Michael. You know, kind of like the next tier down when you're talking about pricing. And you know, growing up watching basketball in the 80s, those are the guys that I really like, and the autos and stuff that I really chase after. I'm going to segue this into Marvel because I was once a comic book collector as well. So collecting the comics, you know, and still collecting comics to an extent, not to the point that I do with cards, but also liking cards. I found, you know, getting into the Marvel cards now is almost like the perfect marriage for myself, where I love the characters, I love cards. Finding cool cards of the characters has become fun and was affordable, but is now the Marvel market is actually getting pretty hot, as opposed to just being what was originally, I feel like, a collector-based market, is starting to have some investors spill into this. And, you know, when the investors spill in, the prices go up. So give me your thoughts on the Marvel card market right now.
I love it. Like sports, I like sports. I like basketball. I like all those other things, wrestling and stuff. Really, Marvel, that's my true passion. That's what I love. And it's interesting that you mentioned, okay, like it used to be a collector's market and it was affordable. Now are coming in and they're buying it up and prices are going up. To me, that makes it even more interesting, you know, because I think, okay, if we have to be honest with hobby, right? What is making it boom and what is bringing in all these people and what makes it interesting is the fact that there's real value attached to these cards, these collectibles now, right? And that's really what has been missing all these years. So for now, like Marvel last year, maybe people didn't care about it, but now it's starting to pick up a little bit. And that makes it very interesting. I feel like this is my time, you know, like I get to collect all these characters that I love, all these cards that look cool to me. Every Marvel card looks cool, right? You could open basketball, you'll get a bunch of nobodies that you never care about, right? But almost every Marvel card is cool. Some characters in there is cool, and they all have a certain value. which makes it super interesting to collect. So I'm loving it. This is like my time right now, and I've been buying up whatever I can get my hands on. Build up my collection, and I'm having a great time with it.
So I mean, and I also think that for a majority of the part, at least up until now, it was mainly the people who had an interest in comics or followed the cartoons back in the day and actually knew the characters, knew about them. But now with the MCU and the movies and Disney and things like that, do you think that's kind of been another catalyst that has brought actually Marvel to the forefront of things? Because a lot of the characters that we talk about and people are buying up now have been around forever. But a lot of people may actually be getting, like my wife, for instance, she goes with me to watch the movies and she loves the movies. However, she doesn't get introduced she didn't know who Doctor Strange was until we went to the first Doctor Strange movie. But for myself, he's my favorite character. I've grew up reading his comic books, and I collect Strange Tales and things like that. So to me, this is a character I've known about for a long time. So do you think with them getting mainstream, with the movie love and stuff, that's helped kind of grow their popularity in the card market?
Oh, that's for you, Steve.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
that's nice.
Okay, so it's very interesting that you bring this up. What's interesting about comic characters, right? Comic book characters, is that they don't change. They're like Superman from 1940 to now. Spider-Man, X-Men. Whenever they come out, they last forever. But what's interesting is that each generation is introduced to them differently. Okay, like right. 80s, that generation they were introduced to them through comic books. 90s, we were introduced, I'm a 90s kid. We were introduced to them through the cartoons like X-Men, all those Saturday morning cartoons. 2000s and up, they've been introduced to them through movies. So, but it's the same character.
Video games.
Right? The characters don't change, but each generation is introduced to them in a different way. And that generation consumes that character in like, for me, I love the cartoon aspect of these characters. That's how I know them, right? But people who grew up in the 2000s and teens, they love the movie characters versions of them. But it's the same thing, and we can all collect them no matter what, right? I can collect MCU stuff as well as comic stuff as well as cartoon stuff, and it's a good crossover for each generation too. So that's what's super cool about these things. It's like every generation gets a different entry point into the characters, right. I guess you could say. But then they'll quickly cross over into the other thing.
Real quick, Hobby Champ ask if we like The Boys. Do you watch The Boys? That is a show on Amazon Prime, I believe. And they also have comic books as well. The Boys was a comic book also. I just finished season 2, so yes, I watch it. It's a little twisted. It's a little out there. It's entertaining, but get that Homelander precious metal gems if they had one, but I guess they probably don't.
It's cool. Right.
Yeah.
It's cool. I'll watch. I like the show. I don't really collect anything outside of just watching the show, but it's entertaining.
Let's see if I put us back in space here. Oh, there's my dog. All right, we're in the multiverse now. So so do you find that there's the ability to prospect on the Marvel cards? Because that the Spider-Man, the big time, Wolverine, the major characters, Captain America, Iron Man, what you would consider, I guess, the GOATs of the Marvel world, are expensive. But you see a lot of characters out there that maybe not a lot of people know about, and the cards are still affordable. As someone who reads comics or can read into Easter eggs, or whether it's post movie credits and things like that, to see the type of things that might be on the horizon, do you think that gives an opportunity to buy into someone before their popularity actually hits?
Absolutely. Yeah. With comic books, they'll pop in price when there's an announcement that a character is getting some type of, Hollywood treatment, a movie, a TV series, something like that. So I'll give you an example right here. Let me see. I'll give you an example. This guy, Moon Knight. Probably most people never knew about this guy, but he's getting a TV show, so now people know about him. Another example, I don't know if this is confirmed yet, but I heard, Spider-Man 2099 is going to get his treatment pretty soon. So that's how people are prospecting these characters. But it's cool because these characters, they have cult followings. Every character that's a comic book, they have a fan base that love them a lot, right? So there's always a niche group that collects these characters. But if the character gets picked for some type of Hollywood movie or whatever TV show, then that's when they become like mainstream. Same like Doctor Strange, for example.
Yes. Yeah, like Doctor Strange, and he had been around for a while before he finally got some notoriety. But yeah, I believe the same thing. Yeah, there's definitely people who read all the titles, who like all the characters. We just had the Master of Kung Fu movie. We had the Eternals movie. And a lot of the characters from those two movies were not very popular until those movies come out, especially the Eternals. I had an old Eternals #1 comic book. I was able to sell for really high dollar. It kind of works, with the card market. When a trailer or something drops, stuff really goes up in price. You talked about Moon Knight, and you showed that card. I had a Marvel Spotlight first issue of Moon Knight that I had picked up probably about 8 months ago, and was actually able to move that for like twice what I bought it for. So it's almost like able to buy and sell / flip comic books the same way you do cards based on hype, because you can go back and buy them, once the new movie comes out, the stuff dies off. But I see that happening with the cards as well. I don't have as many as you do. I've been picking up a couple. Like I got a bronze, and the bronze are not as rare, but I got a bronze Sandman.
Nice.
I was picking up the Spider-Man villains because I knew the Spider-Man movie was coming out. This is one of my better ones. Probably it's not graded yet. 2013 Scarlet Witch.
I'm looking for that one.
And this one's really clean. I bought this offline and got it, and it was so clean. I was so scared when I bought it offline because they chip easily. The condition on these is not, they're very sensitive, but this one's really clean. Right. This one's going to PSA for sure. Let's see. Is there any other Marvel cards that you like or that you buy other than the PMGs? Is there any other inserts that you like? And who's your favorite character? Is there a character that you like for yourself?
Oh man, yeah, I've got several favorite characters, but I'd have to say top of mind would be Captain America, and I like the X-Men a lot because I lived off of that cartoon back in the 90s. So I like Cyclops, Colossus. Those are like two of my favorite guys. Archangel. Other type of Marvel cards besides PMG, I love the early Marvel cards of the 90s. So like Marvel Universe Series 1, I love that series. Marvel Masterpiece Series 1 and Series 2, I love those cards. The holograms are really cool. Those are the ones I collect the most because again, they remind me of my childhood. I remember buying those packs, trying to chase those cards. So I love those old vintage Marvel cards. The new cards, right, just the PMGs, but I'm starting to get into the other type of inserts that they pop out with, like the jambalayas are really cool.
Yeah, I like the jambalayas.
I just discovered that Upper Deck makes exquisite. I've got this exquisite auto here.
They put a set
like it here. Right. So that's kind of like a sports crossover version. They did this. So that's really cool. And I'm learning about different, I'm not a Marvel card expert or anything like that. I'm learning about these different inserts every day, it seems like. So it's really cool. It's really fun to collect.
You have a few jambalayas here. Just this guy really hasn't been seen yet. Two Iron Fists.
Nice.
I got the Doc Ock. So Doc Ock's now out again in this Spider-Man. And I have two Hobgoblins. So we're still waiting to see when Hobgoblin pops up.
Oh, okay.
But it's funny because I searched my sales history and I have this Carnage PMG bronze, and I look back to my sales history when I bought it. That's a nice one too. Yeah, you have I've like a lot of your Instagram posts and stuff. You have a lot of you have better stuff than I have when it comes to the Marvel and the PMGs.
No, it's not better. It's just different. It's just different. It's not that.
Well, higher end. You have some higher end stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're talking about the X-Men here in the chat.
The only difference between me and you, Steve, is I just have more credit card debt. That's it.
Let's see. So I know you also like the wrestling cards. Do you like I don't want to say alternate sports, but do you delve into the F1 at all? Boxing, skateboarding, Tony Hawk stuff. Yeah, Ultimate Warrior, I know is your guy. I know Ultimate Warrior is your guy.
Yeah. Wrestling is my second love. Okay. It's just because I watched that as a kid with my dad, and I just have such fond memories of that. So I love wrestling. I don't really dive into those other alternate sports just to get into it, like F1. I'm not really into that. I'm kind of like, I'm interested, but I'm not jumping into it. I'm just getting into soccer now. So, and that's like my new territory that I'm learning about. I'm kind of interested in UFC a little bit, but I don't chase what everybody else is chasing. If that's was your question. Wrestling for me, wrestling and Marvel are my favorite things to collect. If I could just collect all those, and I would go to every show and put out my display case, which I'm kind of doing already. But to be competitive, I have to incorporate the other sports too.
Yeah, with me, it's kind of been Marvel and movies, and then there's been, I like I said, I like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. So this is all Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. This is all like Abdul-Jabbar autos, and this is a Shaq auto. But
nice.
But lately, that's how it's been for me.
Cool. Let me show you.
The other thing I like about
I like the sport nature of boxing. Like I got these cool Muhammad Ali card.
Yeah.
I got the Tyson version of that. So cool stuff like that. Whatever.
And I was going to say, do you find it's not only the enjoyment that you have for the other sports, not only the enjoyment that you have for wrestling, but finding some of those older wrestling cards that aren't necessarily made by big companies, looking for the older neat items. Like I was chasing Andre the Giant stuff, and he didn't really have he did in the 90s, but if you're looking for his early stuff, it's old 70s stuff that might have come from the wrestling events or food products and things like that, not your typical common everyday card. That to me, that's also what's exciting about some of this stuff, especially the rock music stuff, is that not only do I love rock music, not only do I love wrestling, the stuff that the rock music is printed on and then some of the wrestling stuff is printed on is also really neat because it's just different. So to me, it kind of hits me from both directions.
I would say I love rare, unique items, and I like to collect things that other people don't have. So I'm always that guy at the show that has different things than everybody else. And that may make my table less appealing to the masses because everybody's looking for the mainstream stuff. But I just love finding unique things. Like I'll show you, like we talk about wrestling, I've got this Hulk Hogan card. This is a 1982 Japanese card of Hulk Hogan, in a kimono. I'm pretty sure nobody else has anything like this, So that's super unique. And I'm just always chasing these custom cards because that for me, that's fun,
And
I've kind of made that my niche.
And to touch on what you said is like when I went to the National, I was carrying my case around, and it would put it up on a table to see if anyone was interested in anything, to trade or whatever. They would go through, and at the time, football was really popular, so I was moving a lot of modern football at the National. But the one item in my case that got the most questions and the most inquiries, I think every single person who looked at my case at least asked about it, whether they were interested or not. It wasn't just one of those items that if they're not interested, they just go by. Everybody stopped and looked at this 1968 Rolling Stones Panini sticker. It's a PSA 9, an old Rolling Stone sticker, cool. only issued in Italy. So it was like everybody stopped and asked about this. Even if they weren't interested or not. They were like, man, where did that come from? I've never seen anything like it. That's awesome. And it goes to what you said, how your table may not be the most appealing to everybody, but you have a lot of like really cool, neat stuff there that people really appreciate to look at, and actually might spark an interest in someone to eventually start getting into those types of items. The more people see them, the more they're going to be like, man, that is actually cool. I would like that, an item like that.
Yeah, that's what collecting is about. It's not about just this culture, like buy this card and then sell it really quick, right? It's about finding cool cards that elicits some type of reaction, whether you think it's stupid or cool or awesome or whatever, right? That's what collecting is, and a huge part of it is being able to share that with people, which is what I was telling you earlier. Like, I love the community aspect of it. Having a card like that Rolling Stones card and being able to show it to people who have never seen it before, they see it and now they go on eBay to look for it, right? They never knew they wanted it until they saw it because of you. And I love that part. I love people coming up to my table saying, oh, what is this? I've seen this before. And, it makes them happy or whatever. And that is the joy of collecting, which I think that a lot of people forget sometimes. They need to be reminded of it because they're so caught up in the culture, right? And they're buying and selling and trading what everybody else is that they forget what this hobby is really about.
Yeah, and speaking of community and the hobby, I'm a huge Pearl Jam fan. You can tell by the hat. Huge Eddie Vedder fan. So I knew that they had a 1997 card that was only issued in Argentina. And other than the first pitch cards or stadium cards that were given out at the stadiums or sold at like concerts by Tops or whatever, they never had anything dating back to the 90s except for this Argentina card. And I looked for them. I couldn't really ever find them, but I knew they were out there. And Merle, who we were talking about earlier, Merle's World, shows up to the National and he gives me the Eddie Vedder and the Pearl Jam from that set. And these,
Awesome.
are just, these are just mine for my collection. They mean that much more to me because they were given to me because somebody knew that I cared about those. Could I have gotten them myself and got them graded? And it's not even the fact that they were free. I'm like, oh, I didn't even have to do that. It's the fact that someone out there cared enough to do that for me. And so in my personal collection, they mean even that much more. We have a question from Jeff. Better investment, Marvel cards or early Star Wars 70s cards? So what would you think here? Marvel cards, early Star Wars? Yeah, go ahead with it.
Yeah, to me, this is a simple answer, which is buy whichever one you like best. I mean, like, people always ask me, should you buy this card? Should you buy that card? Guys, all you have to do is you buy what you like. Whatever makes you most excited, you buy it, and you will do well with it. Okay? Believe me, do not buy anything that people just tell you to buy, right? You got to buy something that really makes you excited, and you will do well with it. If you like both of those, I would buy both of them. Okay? I don't think you can go wrong with either one. Marvel cards are super hot, and Star Wars is even hotter.
There'll always be a collector base for both. There'll almost be a cult like collector's base for both. I love both. I collect both. So yeah, as an investment,
that's like
you just can't. Like I don't really think you can go wrong. They'll be around forever,
LeBron, right?
Yeah, they're like and I personally like, again, to go after the different stuff, and most of your Star Wars stuff, because it's so old, is going to seem different. But there is a Panini put out a 1977 sticker set in Italy based around the Topps card set that came out in the States, because Panini only did stickers in Europe. So you got Topps cards in the States and you got Panini stickers in Italy. I picked up this one, people have seen that follow my channel, because this is my favorite scene from any Star Wars movie, the Han Chewie pose here.
Beautiful.
And this is a 1977 Panini sticker. These just don't pop up that much. You're probably much like me. When you see an item that you probably think you may not ever get a chance to see again, you probably try to pick it up. Probably try to be like, like when I got I'm not even a huge Rolling Stones fan, but when I saw that Rolling Stone sticker, I was like, I'll probably never see this again. and it's only like a pop too, so it's not like I haven't seen another one again. We do have some
rare,
Morbius
guys,
chat going on.
Rare,
Yeah,
you buy it.
Now,
Steve, do you mind? Can we do like a rapid fire? I want to make sure I'm going to get to all these questions because I don't want anybody to feel like they got left out.
Oh yeah, we're going to. Let's see. They were talking about Morbius and the movie. Someone had said the Jared Leto movie that was coming out, which is Morbius. Adam answered Morbius. What do you think about the Morbius movie coming up? Do you think that there's a potential around his cards? Do you think he'd be a long-term character worked in, or what do you think about him?
Personally, I'm not a Morbius fan. I never have been. I'm not excited for that, but I'm sure if they're making a movie about it, that there is a fan base involved. So if you do like him, I think it's a play. If you never heard of Morbius before, don't buy the cards.
Right. I honestly think Disney is looking to put out they're looking to go a darker route with some of their Marvel stuff, where they want to have like a horror based series that kind of steers clear a little bit of the Avengers type stuff and all that was going on. And this is their way of introducing Morbius. I think, Blade to come, Black Knight to come. No, I don't want to spoil anything, but those guys are on their way, and you're going to have probably Dracula sooner or later. Yes, Dracula is a comic book. A lot of people think Dracula is just the Transylvania Halloween Dracula that we see, but Dracula does have a Marvel comic. Tomb of Dracula #10 is actually the first appearance of Blade, so they will tie that stuff together. So, well, we'll see how good it is. Basically, it's going to stem around, is it going to be a good movie or a bad movie, and how's it rushed is it going to be? Tony E-Man asked if either one of us collect any of the Marvel stuff by Rittenhouse.
I'm not familiar with that. I know I've heard about that. I'm super familiar with it, so I would, probably not anything that I have.
I'm not 100% sure what Rittenhouse does. Most of the Rittenhouse cards that I have seen, I think, are called Dangerous Diva cards. Maybe they have a lot of shots of the female characters, or female characters with one of the male characters, almost like in seductive poses or whatever. I don't know if it's Marvel Cards Up is someone on Instagram that posts a lot of that stuff. I know that Rittenhouse also makes a lot of WNBA stuff when WNBA cards weren't being made by Panini or anybody. So I'm not sure if they kind of focus around female sports and also female, just female based characters and things like that. I could be completely wrong, but I'm not as familiar with them as well. Oh, my furry friend in the background that was walking around was my little dog. My last dog that I have left, my two older dogs, don't really want to talk about that too long, but my two older dogs passed away within a month of each other. So over the past 3 months, I had two. One was 14 and one was 13. And I got them together and they passed away about a month apart from each other. But this younger dog had a teenage daughter. When she was 18, she thought it was time to move out and get on her own. That lasted for about 30 days. She came home. While she was gone, she acquired a dog, which now became my dog. So that's the little dog you guys see walking around in the background. Are there any other sets with PMGs in them that haven't been pumped to the moon yet? So PMGs are, maybe they're not talking about just Marvel. Yeah. I don't think he's talking about just Marvel. I think he might be talking about, is there any sports out there that, because the Marvel PMGs are just starting to go up. Like I said, this time last year, actually October 2020, I looked at my sales history of my PMGs and I had paid, So
the Flair Retro, they make the sports PMGs, and to be honest, I don't think people care about the sports PMGs, the later ones that have been made in 2012, just because they're collegiate jerseys. So I don't think people really care about those right now. So yeah, you could pick those up pretty good. The only expensive ones are maybe Jordan, LeBron, but everybody else is very affordable.
Yeah, I think people are trying to get ahead on the PMGs because it feels like PMGs is starting to be a craze across the board of all sports or whatever product they're in. Marvel was kind of the last one that if you kind of missed the boat early, you're paying bigger prices now. So I think that's where that question is kind of headed. Oh, I saw you bought you bought this card. Now I bought one. Mine came back in 8 from SGC. I saw that you had just bought one of these at your last show. But I bought this so long ago. Like, I've had this graded for over a year now. When I bought this raw, it was $35. So I paid $35 off ComC. Yeah, so and this is when SGC grading was like $8. So
yeah, I paid $3.
Yeah,
fine.
So a quick question from myself to you, because you definitely have more experience with graded PMGs than I do. Where do you think the line between a raw PMG equals the value between a graded PMG? Or do you think the raws kind of get a lot of money because people are looking to grade? You know, a lot of times with a modern basketball card, you know, a PSA 10 is worth more than a raw, but a PSA 9 is worth slightly more than a raw card, but a PSA 8 is worth less. And you know, it always depends on the year and things like that.
I was just talking to one of my about this today. Like, you know, so like the rationale that I've been hearing is PSA 8 is the equivalent to a raw card, right? So I don't know if I believe that or not. I think any in a slab is better than nothing. But I think with the PMGs, so this is just my opinion, okay? But for me, right now, now it's just a matter of acquisition. Okay, you see a PMG out there, you pick it up. It doesn't matter because they're so condition sensitive to there and say, oh, I'm gonna just pick the best ones because I think I'm gonna grade them and they're gonna come back a 9, you know, or whatever. It's like good luck with that because they're rare and they're super condition sensitive. Like, I think that if you buy anyone and they come back a 7 or an 8, that's a win all day. Okay, I mean, unless there's like a huge crease in it and it comes back a 5 or less, I don't really think there is a difference in value between a raw and all those other ones, you know? That's just my opinion. I'm buying as many as I can. I don't care about the condition as long as it's not like super noticeable.
Right. Yeah. And like you said, they're so condition sensitive. They're the kind of cards that would have gotten damaged just being removed from the pack because of those foil corners. Some of them are thick stock, like especially the 2017 thick stock just damages. You know, you can buy yourself a pack of National Treasures today and pull a card out with a ding corner. So yeah, I think a lot of people right now who are really looking for, and let's be honest, were these cards really taken care of? I mean, were people looking at these as being long-term investments when they were pulling them out of packs? So I think people out there that are really looking for, hey, this has got to be a 9 or higher, they're actually going to probably costing themselves in the long run because they're going to realize that they're just not out there in those grades. Few and far between. You might find one. There is an amazing Black Widow for sale on eBay right now. I don't want to point it out to everybody, but I'm sure you're looking at it already. I don't know if you are, but there's a blue 2015 in a PSA 10. And I'm like, what? I'm just kidding. I'm watching it, but I'm just like, man, I'm sure it's going to get pushed out of my price range, but yeah, I didn't think that you know, a 10 would exist in those. But yeah, like I bought this for $35. So now I'm like, I'm at a position where I bought it so long ago that it's just easy. I can't lose on it anymore, you know, at all now. Right. Jeff Silversmith, and I know Jeff Silversmith collects cards and comics. He sells comics on live auctions and such. Got a lot of really good stuff, and also does coins, hence the name Jeff Silversmith. So he says 90s are valuable, but they're tough to get in high grade because they didn't know how to cut cards very well. Most are always off center, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, cards and things. And Charles, I know you're familiar with Charles, Stacking Gems on Instagram. He has lots of fire stuff. Posting a rock 1 of 1 super refractor today. Charles. Let's see. So Mervin says he's still waiting for you to get some cricket cards.
Oh, you know, I forget where it was, but somebody brought a cricket card to my table once. It was I thought it was a joke, but when he started mentioning this, he's always mentioning this. I thought it was a joke. He's been trolling me for several months now. Get the quick cards, like I'm gonna get one.
About him
all
a
right,
lot,
the next time I see
yeah,
it across my table, I'm gonna get it. Just for
I get
you,
asked about him a lot. I've just never had a chance here. Phoenix Rising 2430. What do Bobby Heenan and Rick Rood have in common with the Liberty Bell? One is cracked, and the other is a ding dong. Ultimate Warrior. That's a quote from the Ultimate Warrior. So I'll tell you, there was an amazing card on eBay. I don't know if it actually sold. It was delisted, so I don't know if it sold elsewhere and was pulled off eBay. I was watching it for a while, but it was I think it was from Topps Transcendent. It was a 1/1 Bobby Heenan, Andre the Giant auto, and
what? Oh,
I've been wanting an Andre the Giant autograph forever, and I know that his stuff is pricey. This card was up there raw, but it was a 1/1. They wanted $5,000 for it. I don't even think there was a best offer. I watched it for a while. They actually made me an offer as a watcher, but it still wasn't in the ballpark I wanted to spend. And as soon as it was removed, I said to myself, I probably should have just spent that money and got that card. You always see that card that you're watching. Once it's gone, you're like, damn, I should have just pulled the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so hard to get a value on a 1/1 card like that and wonder if you're overpaying or not. What would be your thoughts on a card like that? I mean, for me personally, I love both characters. I mean, I love both wrestling personalities. Andre is the wrestler, Bobby Heenan, and a dual auto Topps Transcendent 1/1. It wasn't even like it was like a unknown brand auto or something. It just seemed like an amazing card, and I held out on it.
Are you asking me my thoughts on whether you should have purchased it or the card itself?
Or just, yeah, because I know there's always like, if I really liked it and a collector, I should have just went ahead and got it. It would have made me feel good to have it. But, from, I don't know, from an item like that value standpoint, maybe you could give some insight on that. Like, do you think that something like that is something in high demand or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got strong opinions about this. Okay, so as far as the item itself, would it be in high demand? I would say no, because it's very niche.
Mm-hmm.
How many Andre the Giant fans, Bobby Heenan fans are out there? But as far as value goes, this is where I always have these conversations with people. Okay, what people don't understand about this hobby, or where they have a misunderstanding, is that they think that cards have to have an assigned value. Okay,
right.
Okay, this gold Tom Brady right now. People who want to buy this, they say, well, what is a comp? What is the, how do you value this? Whatever. They think it has to have assigned value. Like this has to be a $50,000 card, right? In their mind, or whatever it is, for them to be okay with spending that type of money on this. They need some validation to process in their mind that they're going to spend X amount of dollars. In your case, it was $5,000 for that card, right? That to me is can get you in situations where you have missed opportunities, right? Mm-hmm. With cards or with any type of collectible, it is only valued what somebody is willing to pay for it, right? Okay, mm-hmm. So that card, he had it for $5,000. That does not mean it's worth $5,000. That means that he's asking for that. And then somebody like you might have been the only guy in the world that wanted that card, and your price on that card was maybe $3,000. Okay.
Yeah.
But from your perspective, right? That's a seller perspective. Okay. But from your perspective, you have to think to yourself, okay, what in my mind do I think that this card is valued? Okay. You might say it's $3,000. Okay. In your mind right now, but there's no other card out there that you could get. Okay. So if you really want that card, you have to pay up for it, or you overpay. But if you believe that that card could be valued at $5,000 at some point in time, then it's worth going after. Right. Mm-hmm. And if you had done that, I'm sure if you paid up $5,000, you would not have felt like you wasted your money. You would love that card. And if you ever put that card back on you would put it at probably double that price. Okay. Because you're setting the next standard for that. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, is because they're shy. they don't know how to really truly value a collectible, which is what all these things are. They think it's like a commodity. Like you go to like Target and you would find these for amount of dollars on the shelf, right? It doesn't work that way in the collector's market. You really have to decide what you value this, and then you, as part of the community, collector community, you set the value for this. If I buy this card, or if the Andre card that you're talking about, like you buy it for $5,000, you set the next price, whatever it is that you want for it, and then somebody who wants it, they have to pay up. And if you go into collecting with that mindset, I don't think you can lose, right? Because you'll always get the card that you want, and you'll never feel bad for missing out on it. That's if you want the card. If you're buying it because you think you're going to flip it or whatever, that's speculating. That's a different story. But I think that's what people don't understand sometimes, and it makes them lose opportunities because of that.
Yeah, I thought it was an amazing card. The money wasn't really the sticking point. It wasn't like, oh man, if I spend this, I'm not going to have any extra, income or anything. It was just, or any extra money. It was just kind of like, how bad do I want this type thing? And I was like, at 3,000 to 35, I probably would buy it. But as soon as it was gone, I kind of realized, I was like, you know what? Probably could have gotten it. If it was 3,000 or 3,500, I'd be showing it on camera right now. We wouldn't be talking about me not buying it, but
that guy watches this tonight and he said, oh, okay. And he puts it back on for $5,000. Would you pull the trigger?
I probably would. I can't sit here and guarantee you, but I probably would, because there's a lot of items that I want right now. I have a top 10 list of items that I'm chasing that I want to put away for like the next 5 years or longer. So those 10 items, I'm going to be tied into for a long time. So I got to have stuff that I'm tied into, and then I also have stuff that I like to move regularly. I flip to collect, so I got to try to get stuff that gets me small profits that adds up. Then I can buy myself an item that I collect to put away.
Yeah. And that's part of the game. That's part of the collecting game. That's so fun. You have to. Everybody has they want everything, right? Everybody wants everything, but you have to prioritize it to within your means or how you go about your collection, right? So maybe that is not your number one card, and you have other cards that you want to prioritize. So that's what's kind of keeping it off the list. Maybe you have something in your box right there that you don't love anymore as much as you used to, then you're willing to move that out, sell it to make the room for that. And that's the game, guys. That's what I love about collecting.
Yeah, like we were talking about Marvel cards and the PMGs and stuff. Right now, I'm kind of looking to buy and resell my PMGs. The Marvel cards that I collect are the 75 and 76 stickers. I like these old looking stickers. In high grades are just tough to come by. I have a whole stack of them here, and I'm just, every time I find a character that I don't have, and eventually maybe I'll have the set, graded in a 9 and up. So I like those because the corny sayings, I know people say they got corny sayings, but the corny sayings on there sometimes are stupid enough to make me laugh. And I like the looks of these. This old vintage looking is just something that I like. Yeah. So guys, in the comments, we were all the way back to close to like 9:40, and it's 10 o'clock. So I had to scroll down to the comments. If we miss any of your comments, put it back in. Yeah, I'm not going to say that you're spamming chat or anything. It's just because I had to catch up, because I don't want to be talking to someone's comment who may no longer be here and, get the answer or response they were looking for. So PS Collectibles Philippines is Michael Jordan 86 Fleer. Below comps, still a good investment.
Good investment. That is the card to collect if you're a basketball fan. That's the card everybody wants. It's super liquid. This is my opinion, of course. So buy it. Don't worry about comps, guys. The comps on those, they fluctuate 5-10% every week, but you can never go wrong with the 86 Jordan. I buy and sell those.
Yeah. It'll always be a card that you'll never be stuck with. At least one of the top 3 most iconic cards in all of sports. You could argue to some people it's the most iconic. There's the 52 Mantle, cards like that, 33 Ruth Gowdy, different cards. But yeah, like you said, that card is super liquid. It fluctuates in price. You can buy any grade, even low grade. It's somebody's always still going to want it. And, buy the grade that you can afford if you just want to have that card. And
I
that
always
one's
have one in my collection. Always.
Yeah.
Six.
I have I have one in mine right now that's graded by, it's not even graded by a big time grading company. It's graded by, they were affiliated with Beckett, but it was back when they were doing the BCCG, back when they were doing the BCCG slabs for the, when they first started and they were doing the membership gradings.
Nice.
But that one's been sitting in there. I'd probably put a PSA 7 on it, on a bad day, maybe an 8 on a good day for a grader, just because the surface is so nice. It's got a little bit of a bad corner, but the red on this, I compared this to about 10 different Jordans. Yeah, I thought about it. I compared it to about 10 different Jordans at the last Dallas show I went to, and the color on the surface on mine was way better. The red on that just pops so heavily, where that red tends to fade out a little bit.
Beautiful.
Not buying any Lando card. I have a Lando card, but if you're looking at Star Wars, the Book of Boba Fett's on the way. Obi-Wan's on the way. TV time will do their cards. Oh, the Mandalorian. Yeah. See, now I haven't bought any new Star Wars cards, like the Topps Chrome products and things like that. I would like to. I don't know what products are considered the go-to. Like, what is the best product to buy in Star Wars right now? Kind of like with Marvel. Just buy Topps Chrome.
Topps Chrome. Mm-hmm.
What are feelings on Gambit? Gambit is a very, very, very popular character in a very, very, on a very, very popular team. He hasn't been done in the movies right at all yet. He hasn't gotten, he was in the one Wolverine movie, but they didn't do him very well. He wasn't on the screen very long. And people are dying, especially the comic book people. They're dying for Gambit to be on the big screen. And his comic book first appearance of Gambit, that book shot up in value just on, rumor and innuendo that Gambit would be showing up in the MCU sooner or later. So his cards right now are probably underpriced. I would probably say they're underpriced, but you're going to want him before he's on television. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Gambit's a play. He's one of my favorites, so he's definitely a play.
Yeah. He's one of the people that doesn't get talked about a lot as much as, like Spider-Man and Hulk and things like that. But in the world of X-Men, he's just about as popular as anybody because of his character.
Right. Steve, if you don't mind, I'd like to try to, I'll have to jump out. I've got about, I probably give you more minutes and then I got to jump out. So if there's any other specific questions for me, I'd like to try to answer those before I have to go dinner with the family.
All right. So, okay, real quick from Neo, do you do comic books at all or just cards?
I do. I dabble in comics a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to get more into it. But comic books, they're on my radar also.
Because he's asking what comic book's currently at the top of your to buy list. He's guessing mine is an X-Men 4. He's known I've talked about this book. Neo and I talk regularly. X-Men 4 would be your first appearance of Scarlet Witch, second appearance of Magneto, first appearance of Quicksilver, first appearance of Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. So that book has a lot of significance in it. It's one book that just has multiple things going for it. I love X-Men number 4. I love that book as an investment right now. On that top 10 list I was just talking to you about, that book is on there. I've actually been in negotiations for one. And I've been in negotiations for an X-Men number 1. Not a giant size X-Men, but an X-Men number 1. I tried to get somebody to go in, maybe as a small investment with me, Neo, but they said they weren't able to. So I'm looking at possibly buying it myself. And that's graded in a CGC 4.
Giant size X-Men, that's my grail comic book. I just love that. Think about it. I got a big poster of it in my office. So that would be the one that I would go for.
Giant size X-Men. And I know Neo picked one of those up, I think, a couple months ago, and he just got himself a Hulk 181, which is his other grail book.
Beautiful. That's number 2. That's number 2 on the list.
super popular books. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what this is. What do you think about 2021 Kickstarter Mothman full holo card? I'm not sure. Mothman,
I don't know what that is. Is that part
I'm
of
not
MetaZoo?
sure either.
I don't know. Yeah.
NorCal Emperor is asking about your Durant slab you were cracking. I saw that. I saw that reel.
Uh-oh.
Is it out?
I got it out, guys. I got it out. It's around here somewhere. I don't even know. Oh. Here it goes.
There it is, already in a card saver.
Yes, I will be submitting this soon. I got to clean it, make sure no fingerprints on all that, and then it's going to go out. And guys, we'll see. We'll see. I'll make a video about it.
AF Alon says first Marvel character, the Human Torch. Was Human Torch the first Marvel character? I don't know my history that much,
I don't know.
But New Mutants 98, that's the first appearance of Deadpool. And then they wrapped that series up at number 100 and became X-Force. And then you got ASM 300, first appearance of Venom, which is a huge book in the I had that in a CGC 9.4, but I actually sold it when the Venom trailer came out. And it you know, the books go up and down just like the cards. I sold that book, and now I could rebuy that book for probably $500 less than what I sold it for.
Wow.
I will say that Silver Age comic books hold their value as strong as anything in any market. I've looked at this through cards. I've looked at it with comics, modern, vintage. I've done all the comparisons. Silver Age comic books, I feel like, do not go down in price. Michael Phelps. Now you got the Hawkster. You got Tiger. Would you crack a Jordan 86 Fleer BGS 9 to submit to PSA?
Yeah, I would. But I'm a gambler, guys. So that's just me. To answer this question, I just saw this. Somebody asked about this. This is not my card. I'm actually helping somebody move it, and I just picked this up today. So it is available, guys.
I had a pretty big Brady card that I acquired at a Dallas show. I had a hard time moving it because there was no comps and it was higher end. I consigned it with Tampa Card Shop, of course, Tampa, and
I know them.
And Bryant down there got that sold for me at a really good price. I was super happy. I give it to him at the National, and like he sold it at the Tampa Collector Con, and I was able to get it moved through there. See, we got just a lot of random comments. See, my chat gets talking because these guys are all the same guys that are here every week, so they all kind of know each other just from being here. Yeah. So they get to talking about all kinds of stuff. Okay, there was your question.
Okay.
How did you acquire the gold? Brady, there was that. And we're almost to the bottom there now. Yeah. Sharpshooter agrees 100% on the 86 Michael Jordan, or Mike Robert does.
Okay. One last, I don't know if this is directed towards me, but Dan Wernick in there.
This one right here?
To answer that question.
Yep, I was actually going to pull that one. Yep.
I'm not taking a beating at all. I've been doing well. You know, I've been navigating the waters, and I'm doing well. All my cards have value. I'm not really underwater on anything, so I'm doing well with my cards.
Yeah, myself, have I taken losses? Yes, but my wins have been more frequent than my losses, and they outweigh them. So you're always going to miss on a card here or there. And as far as how long you hold before you get out, you know, that's just depends on the card. A lot of times with vintage stuff, I won't. I'll just hold, or older stuff, I'll just hold. If it's modern, it depends on the player. If it's a player that I think is going to come back stronger, you know, am I going to sell my Jason Tatum stuff because he got off to a slow start? I'm not, because I still believe he's an MVP caliber player. Would I cut losses on my Kevin Porter Jr. stuff? More than likely, because he's not a type of player that I think has any long-term appeal for me, so I'd probably like to get out now. That's just me talking from example, though. That's not necessarily – I have like 2 Kevin Porter Jr. cards. I'm not heavily invested in him, but, I mean, I was just using those 2 players as an example for me personally.
Sure. And let me just kind of add to that. That's not to say that my cards didn't go down in value like everybody else this year. Mm-hmm. They did, but I was able to, you know, navigate and do things through trading down, trading up, things like that. These are all things that I talk about in some of my videos where I talk about like the art of the deal, things like that. So if anybody's having problems like that, come talk to me. I will kind of you guys through that. Okay.
Yeah.
And with that, Steve, you got something to add?
Oh, I was just going to say that goes to like the Brady I was just telling you about. The way that I got into that card was I traded a few ultra modern basketball cards for it just because I didn't feel strong on the modern basketball, and I just wanted to get them into something that I knew would hold value. That in a rare Tom Brady card, I knew it was going to hold value, so I got out of a bunch of common modern basketball, and I gave up a lot of common modern basketball stuff for that one card. And then that stuff came down, but then I still had all this equity in this Brady that saved me because I just knew that card was safe.
Right. This is for Robert here. But just to add to that, yes, sometimes you have to trade out of things and you get into new things that can appreciate a lot faster than what you had before. So that's an okay thing. But with that, thank you so much, Steve. I have to jump off. Sorry, I have to go have dinner with the family. But thank you so much for hosting and inviting me. I really enjoyed myself. Thank you to everybody. If you guys, if you're not following me, please look me up on YouTube at The Great Curator or on Instagram at The Great Curator. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, guys, go check him out, man. Good stuff. Good for the hobby. Good content. Awesome cards. I mean, exciting. So go check him out for sure. All right, guys. It's just me, which means everybody's going to leave. But we'll go ahead and get into maybe 30 to 40 minutes of me interacting with you guys, answering your questions. It was great having Daniel on for a while. Get some background on him. And some opinions from someone else other than me, especially on the weird stuff that I collect. We didn't get much into the rock and roll stuff. All right, guys, are we fixed yet? Are we fixed? Let me know something. If we're not fixed, I'm going to have to go. Okay, so we're there. All right, so no all right. I don't know what happened. That was weird. It changed my microphone over to my headset microphone, which my headset microphone isn't even attached. So that was pretty weird. All right, back to the F1 question that I was answering in the dark or in the silence. Have I bought any F1? I haven't, and I haven't really considered it just because I buy too much other stuff with the rock and roll, the Marvel, the sports, odds and ends, so even some NASCAR. I would have to do research on F1 because I don't know anything about it. I don't watch it, so I don't know anything about it other than who the top driver is. So it's just not necessarily for me. Mike says, stop ignoring him on Facebook. Did I miss something on Facebook, Mike? I hope I didn't. If I did, it wasn't intentional. Maybe I haven't just been on the page or scrolled through. All right, good. No more writing. All right, guys, I created a banner for the first time. I'm going to see if it works. And I'm not going to run it all night because it's kind of obnoxious. But it's just talking about the Super Chat raffle we didn't get to finish last week because last week I had internet problems, and it was for the Select Football Hanger. So you see at the bottom, 2020 Select Football Hanger, Super Chat raffle, 1 entry for $3, 2 entries for $5. I had Dex Flow gave me a Super Chat earlier tonight, so that was added, even though we didn't have it up and running. So Super Chat raffle right here. Great conversation with Daniel from The Great Curator, or The Great Curator is his name, but he's from his own channel. And Dwayne says, can we put the scores up there? The scores for the basketball games and stuff? That would be cool to... Alam says, let's open the box. I'm not opening the box for myself. It's got names in there from last week and from tonight for people who want to participate in the Super Chat raffle and win this. I can open it for them if they win it, and then just send it to them if there's anything good, or I just send them the box, which I normally prefer to do. Weiler says, what are my thoughts on Panini Instant? The base Scotty Barnes, which is 511, is going insane. I don't mess with Panini Instant too much. I've never bought a Panini Instant card. They don't tend to hold any long-term value. They're a little bit kind of like Topps Now, where they can have some hidden value on certain items, but not necessarily like long-term once people start getting out actual cards, mainstream cards of themselves. I don't do breaks, AF Alarm. That's just too much work, and I don't get into product to make money. Like, I don't buy product and sell off breaks to make money off people. Like, I'm doing this raffle. I bought this box for $35. If only 5 people raffle for this, that's fine. If more do, then that's fine. Either way, I'm not looking to make any money off of it. And YouTube takes 30% of all super chats anyway. If somebody super chats me $10, YouTube takes $3. So it's not like, a lot of that. But and I did do breaks way back in the day on my Facebook page. But again, it was always guaranteed value. I would have breaks, and then I had a row of cards where people could roll dice, and they would get into what was the card casino, and they would win different slabs, different cards. Mike from Mike's Card Museum, who was on here earlier, probably has been in one. Dustin, the personal finance dad, when I first met him, before we were even like on YouTube, doing YouTube together, he used to get in them as well. Someone stole a Giannis Prism PSA 10 off my slabs for $1,400, like 10 hours after it was posted. Hope you guys are watching. what is posted. The good deals go quick. They do. Sometimes if you look at My Slab's sold archives, you'll be like, man, you'll see some stuff has sold cheap, and you'll be like, man, I wish I would have seen that before someone else did. And so, yeah, keep your My Slabs open and looking at some of those deals that get listed sometimes. I sold a card on My Slabs tonight, right before the live stream, another Tyler Hero card. So, yeah, stuff is moving slowly, but it's moving. For the right price, it's moving super quick. But Michael Ham talks about he does breaks all the time. Dwayne says the Giannis 1400. Check out the sold items. I honestly don't even know what a PSA 10 Prism Giannis is going for right now. Probably, I don't know, is it 2K? I'm not really sure where Giannis is at and where his market is sitting. Charles asked me if I've been messing with any NFTs. I haven't. I haven't messed with NFTs since Top Shot. I still have a lot of Top Shot packs unopened that I'm waiting to open sometime, but I haven't messed with any other NFTs. Should maybe look into them, but I just haven't. There's a Monday Night Football game on tonight. I guess I'll check the score on that. I had a fantasy football game this week. Lamar Jackson called in sick, so I actually I started Tua, and he scored me over 20 points. And I had said on my live drive on the way to work, I said, it's okay. As long as Tua gets me 15, my running backs will carry my fantasy team. And I said that, but I was like, man, I hope I'm right. And then I plugged Tua in there. He gets me 21, and my running backs are Jonathan Taylor and Joe Mixon. So like I said, my running backs would carry my team this week, and Jonathan Taylor pretty much carried my team by himself. I also had Justin Jefferson. That didn't hurt. He had a monster game. Right here. Oh, big glare. Can't see it. 56 points out of Jonathan Taylor and 27 out of Joe Mixon and 40 out of Justin Jefferson. It didn't matter who I started at quarterback. Oh, they're still releasing 2021 basketball? Yes, that is crazy. They need to get the new rookie class out into some products. They're still milking last year's draft. I don't know why. It wasn't even that good, but they want to get those products out. The NBA allows them a certain amount of products a year, so they're going to get out all the products that they can before they start with new product. This is agitating to me, and I showed this in my live drive where I had picked up some music items recently. And the favorite one that I picked up, which is a PSA 6 1980, David Gilmour, who's the main guitarist, lead singer from Pink Floyd, and it's in there crooked, like PSA does with these small cards. And I can't tap it at all and get it straight, and it's just bugging me. Now, PSA has fixed this problem. They have fixed this problem. I'm going to do a video on that because now they have new slabs for these types of cards. In a recent PSA order, not super recent, a couple months old, they have changed the slab. So look at the difference where they put these. They've got these plastic seals around it as opposed to the old ones. So I'm going to do a video on that because people dog PSA a lot. And that is one different type thing positive that they've done is they've changed the slab to where these cards will now sit in there better and such. But what about the people who already have them like this one? I should be able to send this in like a recall, like on a vehicle, and them re-slab it for me for free. Phoenix Rising, have a good night. See. Yeah, it's a bad slab. Yeah. I mean, this is personal collection, so you know it is what it is. I got the sweet Heart. I don't know if anybody listens to Heart but me, but a super crush on especially her right there, the singer. I had a big time crush on the singer back like during the Barracuda video and stuff. Because I'm old like that. Sharpshooter recently discovered cards will only sell if there's hype around a certain player. Everything else falls through the cracks. Let's see. Do you mean things fall through the cracks as in deals fall through the cracks, or cards that don't have hype just, you know, they'll just end up falling off? Let's see. I mean, I guess kind of goes both ways depending on how you're looking at it. Yeah, cards will sell if there's hype around a certain player, and then cards that don't get hype, they will fall off. Their prices will fall off. But also, if you're looking at it, I'm not sure how you're directing this, but if you're trying to say that when there's hype around one certain thing, other cards will fall through the cracks because people aren't paying attention to them, so you can get deals. It can also be taken that way also. So I'm not sure how you mean it. But like the Larry Bird and Magic Johnson autographs I was buying during the heightened hype of the NBA season kicking off, a lot of that stuff, the Larry Birds and Magics that I was collecting, were like starting to sell a lot cheaper because everybody had tunnel vision on modern NBA. And then after about 2 weeks, modern NBA leveled off and the Larry Birds and stuff started going back up in price. So yeah, like good cards fell through the cracks and I was able to find deals, but also players that aren't performing or whatever, prices have fallen off as well. Adam, I open products sometimes. I pretty much just buy singles. I bought a NASCAR Prism blaster box. Walmart had a ton of NASCAR Prism blaster boxes last time I went in there. This year's Prism NASCAR. I bought that, but I just put it out there. I'll probably give it away on the channel sometime. I bought it, but I didn't open it. But it looked like a cool product. I looked at what they were selling for on eBay. They were selling for like $50. Walmart wanted like $35 for a blaster. I guess blaster prices have gone up. I didn't know that. So they're going for $15 more on eBay than they are at Walmart, but I didn't like buy them out or anything. I just bought one to give away. Just like this. I went in the store the other day. I needed some supplies. I bought some one touches, some top loads, and I bought this, and it's overpriced. It's $35, but I wanted to have something to give away, so I bought it. So I have finally put a lot of my cards into, like I said, I went and bought some pro molds and some one touches. I like the pro mold because the pro mold comes with a soft sleeve or a penny sleeve that'll fit the card as well as fit inside of the pro mold. Where if you have a one touch, the card just has to go in there bare without a penny sleeve. So I like the pro molds a little bit better. However, all my 55-point pro molds that I have opened so far, 3 were missing the penny sleeve. Now my 35-point pro molds, my 130-point pro molds, all those that I bought, they all had the sleeves with them. But the pro mold 55 points didn't have sleeves. So today I crossed over this Jeff Gordon autograph card. This was in a screw down. This had been in the card so long. It was in one of the old screw down cases. So I had to get a screwdriver. I put this in a pro mold, but I had to penny sleeve it myself because this is a 55 point and the sleeve was missing. Same with this George St. Pierre autograph. I finally got that into a pro mold. And I didn't get a pro mold big enough for my Tony Hawk auto because the thickest ones I bought were 130 point, and this Tony Hawk It must be like a 150 point or something, guys. What's the next size up from 130 point? Is it 150? I need to get a pro mold for that. Pro molds just make your cards like look so much sweeter. So it's like, appearance when you're trying to move an item, especially in person. I got my Dale Earnhardt auto into a pro mold. Took them all out of those old top loaders. I put this Isaiah Thomas in one. It made this Isaiah Thomas card look so much better. This Isaiah Thomas game used out of 25. I'm going to sell this in Philly. I'm going to double my money on that. I already know who I'm going to sell it to. But yeah. A lot of people liking the pro molds. Yeah, pro molds, one touches are still nice. I just like the pro mold with the sleeve. I love having I don't like putting my card just into a one touch. It just feels like the card's naked and it feels like it gets scratched up or something without a penny sleeve on it. So next up from 130 is a 180 point. Thanks, Charles, for that. I have to get myself a 180. Wasn't there a funeral for Starstock recently? The platform is dead. I haven't been over there. I'm going to talk with the Starstock guys at the Philly show. The Philly show supposedly has a nice trade night building up with backing from Starstock. I think Roth Cards, Santiago Sports. There's some more named Wheelhouse Cards who held the trade night last time. It looks like they're all getting together. And last time it was held at Wheelhouse Sports Cards at the store. This time it looks like the Philly trade night is going to be held at the convention center where the show is taking place and where the hotel is. So I'm already staying right there. So that'll be even that much better. But again, yeah, Dex Flow, I'll talk and see how I know the Starstock guys still set up at the shows and they have nice cards, nice singles that they're selling. I don't know if it's the guys who run Starstocks like personal collections or what, but they usually have nice singles. And I'm like, man, they did out well. They made out well for themselves with some of the cards that they have. All right, Mike. Mike, I did get your Facebook message. Your instant message. We're about an hour, 35 minutes in, guys. Is there anything you guys want to ask, talk about? I feel like we covered quite a bit. There's not really a lot going on right now. I'm looking to buy a few comic books, X-Men 4, Silver Surfer 3, X-Men 1, Fantastic Four, number 48. And then I'm looking for some big-time key cards, 52 tops, Willie Mays. I got this list written down somewhere. I wrote it down because I was going to do a video, so I wrote it all down, taking notes. With any last takers for the Super Chat raffle for the select hanger? $3 Super Chat, get you an entry. $5 get you 2 entries. We'll give it a couple minutes. If not, I'm going to go ahead and draw the winner. I'm going to get your information. I'm going to have it sent out to you. Yeah, and honestly, guys, I feel like I've run out of topics to talk about right now because I feel like we had such a good conversation earlier in the night. And you guys, let's see. Dan says, besides the card market has been blah, you started buying some crypto. I'm not a whole lot into crypto. I'm just not very well educated on it. I mean, I know the names of it. I don't necessarily know how a lot of it works, with the different, I know there's different blockchains. I know what Bitcoin is. I know what Dogecoin is, but honestly, I just haven't delved into it, guys. I haven't, and maybe I'm missing the boat. Maybe I should take a look at it, and maybe I will. Maybe I will. I just hasn't been something that I've done. We've got Simdius and Tatas and Brewskis coming in here. Sharpshooter, I'll read that in a second. Sharpshooter says, is anybody looking for some good sports card conversation? Check out Warehouse Sports Cards on YouTube. I will check that out. Is it do they do videos, or is it strictly like live stream sessions, or is it like a podcast? You know, do they turn it into a podcast or anything like that? So Simdius is in. Tatas and Brewskis is going in right now. You see a lot of people buying and selling on Twitter. You know, Breakout Cards is on there regularly. Ryan from Breakout Cards, or is there a separate like business called Breakout Cards? Or does Ryan do a lot of business on there? I haven't been on Twitter in a while. I do a lot of Instagram, some Facebook, mainly Instagram. Mainly my slabs. I have a Twitter account, but I probably haven't looked at it in 3 weeks. Live stream. Do they live stream every night, Sharpshooter, or is it just like a one night type? One night a week or something. Guys, we're ready to do this. Go ahead and do this raffle. We're going to call it a night. I'm honestly tired. I almost didn't stream because I did. To be honest, I came home from work ill today. But I'm feeling better. I streamed. I didn't want to cancel because, you know, I had Daniel ready to come on. And I know you guys, you know, look forward to being bored to death for a couple hours every Monday. So we're going to go ahead and pull this winner out of here, guys. Thanks for joining me on the live stream tonight. I'll have some more talking points next week, just on some stuff that I've been doing. I should have some grading submissions back. And, yeah, just not a whole lot of talk about right now because the hobby seems to be in a it's archived. The hobby seems to be slow right now. I mean, let's call it what it is. It's slow. It's down. It's still fun. But I believe it's fun, you know, to each his own because everybody collects something differently. I'm hunting music cards every night. Right? And more music cards every night. So that's for me. And then I come on here and I don't want to bore everybody with my music cards because I know that's not what everybody's into. I got the name here, the winner. Adventures with Troy. So Adventures with Troy was here last week. I know Adventures with Troy. I wasn't sure if I seen him at all tonight, so I'll give him a chance to claim this on Instagram if he goes back and listens. Adventures with Troy, you're the winner of the select hanger. I'm going to go, I think, to a card shop or comic book shop tomorrow, and I'll look for some more stuff to put up on the look up some more stuff to put up on the Super Chat giveaway. Catch me in Philly. If you're coming out to the show, Thanksgiving is Thursday, guys. If I don't see you guys by then, make sure you enjoy your holiday with your family. Be careful out there if you go Black Friday or Cyber Saturday shopping or whatever those days are called, because people can get crazy if they're still doing that stuff. And yeah, take care of yourself. Go out and find yourself some items that you like. Don't chase crazy hype. Don't be afraid to cut your losses. Buy stuff that you love. In the end, you'll be happy with it. All right, guys. Take it easy. Thanks for joining me tonight. I'm going to get some water, get to sleep, and I'll see you guys maybe on a live drive sometime this week in a video. All right, guys. Take it easy. See you later.